Boom! We are live on a Sunday night UK time, 9:35 p.m. We are the European champions again. England Lionesses take a bow. Chloe Kelly, Hannah Hampton, Jess Carter in particular, you should be getting dames. What a night for England Lionesses. But before we get into people to discuss an amazing but interesting tournament in Switzerland, we'll be back right after the Albert J TV and Holly's Hotspurs intro. We'll see you right soon, people. And there you have it, people. Holly, take yourself off of mute. All the listeners, Holly is here. I'm not going solo. She said she's had a long day, and so have I. It's been an amazing day for the Lionesses. Show number 7. We made it right to the tournament. And all the listeners and people listening on YouTube, me and Holly, after our collaborations, quadruple collaboration, we are finally doing a show where we are winners. Yay! Come on, England. Third time lucky. We lost the Euro final with the men's against Spain. We lost the World Cup final against España in Australia, New Zealand. But we are third time lucky. What a tournament, Holly, my co-host. I obviously, for the purposes of the podcast, I have to ask you how you're feeling.
Oh, mate. Buzzing! Champions! Champions! Ole, ole, ole. Oh, no, I'm over the moon. So happy. Like you say, it's very nice to be here and we can talk about a win, a final, another trophy. What a day. I love 2025, mate. How are you, Albert?
I'm all right. I'll let that slide did go by because I'll tell you something now. You better regret saying that. I'll tell you that for the Arsenal purposes, watching the channel on Albert J TV. As for your Tottenham lot on your channel, I'm sure they'll be going along with what you have to say. Let me come to the chat quickly before we start, Holly. Big ups to people in the chat already. It's me, Everest. Thank you, my friend. I've got my Arsenal continuing in the chat, Holly, so don't get too scared. Big up Suj. He's, I think, 10, 11 hours ahead in Australia. So yeah, big up to the guys watching now when you watch it back on the rerun. And like I said, welcome when you watch it back on the rerun and also when you get it on audio. Yeah, where do I start, man? Yeah, absolutely buzzing. Delighted. Let's just go straight off the bat, man. Because I can write down as much preparation as I want, but it's just going to come naturally after watching that. I think I need to take a week off of work. But look, Bangladesh, Holly, look at that, 2:37 a.m. in the morning. Big up, it's me, Everest, man. That's some serious hard yards, man. Holly, yeah, we came into the final. We spoke after the semi-final when we had the amazing Sophie Nicolau from Hybrid Squad. Big up Sophie. She's gone on to TalkSport tonight. Talk about the Lionesses, fantastic. Maybe a little bit about some Arsenal stuff as well. I don't want to go into too much detail. I know how happy you are that Victor Gyokeres has joined Arsenal. Hey, to get that one in. But no, Holly, coming into the final went exactly how I thought it would go. Spain, brilliant possession of the ball. In terms of lineups going into the game, I wouldn't start at Lauren James. Sophie said that, I said that, you said it. Jess Carter comes back into the side, which wasn't that big a surprise, I've got to be honest, because I think Serena saw it tactically in terms of how she wanted to play Esme Morgan in the semi-final against Italy, and Jess in the final, who's obviously played against Spain quite a few times in an England shirt, and obviously domestic playing and coming up against Spanish teams. But what do you make of the team, and obviously how England started that final tonight?
Yeah, I think you're right. Like you said, that I would have liked Beth to start. I know we all kind of agreed on that being the case. It was interesting to see James. I think she was a little bit off the ball at times, but also we know that just a little bit of magic from Lauren, and we know what she's doing. So, yeah, I think I was intrigued to see that James started. Obviously, that kind of changed. I think it was before, at half time, because obviously she got injured, which I think we kind of spoke about a lot going into this tournament. There was a lot of players that haven't played a lot of football, that even if they got a slight knock, they were potentially going to be out for the long run. But I think, maybe we should have started Beth, but it don't matter because we're winners at the end of the day now. We can look back at it and be like, oh, hindsight's a wonderful thing. But
Holly, I have to interject for the podcast purposes. We have to go through, and we can't just go straight to the end part because it'll be the shortest ever live stream we've done in a joint collaboration in our lives. So just give a bit of context.
But no, I think, like you said, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's interesting to see Lauren James start. Serena stuck to her guns. And we've laughed and joked about this whole tournament in terms of, I would have done that, should have done that. But Serena, again, she knows what she's doing. She's seen it all the way through. But yeah, unreal. But that being said, obviously, if we're going to do it in chronological order, I also wasn't surprised that Spain scored first. What did you kind of make of the way they managed to score that goal?
How can I be nice? I thought it was too easy. I generally thought it was too easy. I thought England, sort of before they conceded the goal, what was it, 24 minutes roughly. England had some chances actually before, and you're playing in a final against a team that possessed the ball better than anybody in world football. You better take them chances. Bruce had the chance beforehand. Lauren James, I'm sorry, he's got to do better. You got to go and crunch that 50-50 or make that first point of contact as poor. And actually, I thought she's incredibly poor in the first half before she got injured anyway. And I thought as a waste of a starting lineup, I think Beth should have started. And I actually wouldn't have brought Chloe on. But in terms of the goal, you can look at it from a Spanish point of view, good patterns of play, pulling England out of shape. Lucy Bronze has got a spot, Mariona coming behind her. That's a classic case of a fullback in that position. Either ball watching, or you take your eyes off the player, or because she's got to see that. You have to spot the danger, stick the danger. So once that cross came in, Mariona, as you know, my baller at Arsenal, absolute quality. Headed 1-0 down, and actually, Holly, wasn't a surprise. It had been coming. England had defended pretty well actually to that point, but the goal wasn't a surprise. Yes, England could have probably done a little bit better in terms of positioning defensively, but as I said, to finish up, there's one team you don't want to go 1-0 down against, and it's the Spanish. But sort of coming back to you, 1-0 down, obviously. England had a couple of chances before that. I think it was the chance, obviously, with Russo, James, and then you had Hemp had a good chance 20 minutes from a defensive mistake by them, which they are vulnerable, and we saw that throughout the tournament. But what was your feelings after they conceded the goal, and how England were playing up to that point?
I think you're right. We had a lot of chances. There's a lot of times that we could have capitalised on it. It just didn't work or happen. It didn't fall right, etc. And then obviously to concede, I kind of said to Dad before the game kicked off, I was like, even if we go 1-0 down, obviously I'm going to be worried because it's Spain. But I'm like, we've done that all tournament. And I know that we can kind of bear ourselves together and go and try and find that equalizer. So I wasn't as stressed as I thought I would be, if that makes sense. Just because, well, yeah, my hair does look a bit ragged. I did pull it out later on in the game. But up to that point, I was actually pleased with how we started. And like you said, it was just a lapse of concentration. And again, it was a great ball into the box. And like you said, Bronze maybe should have done better to see her coming in from the back post. But bar that, I thought we were okay up until that point, and I was certain that we were going to get that equaliser. I just didn't realise how soon after, if that made sense. We've been so many games in this tournament where we've been waiting the last 5 minutes and we somehow managed to equalise and send it to extra time. So get the goal nice and early in that second half was nice. And as well, getting onto that goal, Russo to get the goal in the back of the net. We spoke a lot in this show in terms of Russo not potentially being that person to find the net as much as we would have liked, but she's been the one assisting. But for her to be on the end of the goal, for me, was a real. I don't know what you felt of us kind of getting that equaliser.
If I dial it back a fraction, my
Sorry.
dear Holly, no, because it leads into the goal. Because I don't know what you thought, and people in the chat watching it, when they watch it back, I thought England in the first half. What the issues I thought Lauren Hemp started okay. Obviously, James and Hemp started on opposite wings, which they haven't done in the tournament, which made more sense if you're going to come inside on your favourite foot and get crosses into the box. But England's problem is, and we said this in the previous show coming into the tournament, the issue is the midfield. They've lacked physicality throughout the tournament. Spain are a very good possession-based side, but they've added physicality in the last couple of years as well, and speed. England needs to find more ball carriers. That was the issue. And I think it's happened a lot with Russo actually, sort of in the tournament where she's been too isolated. The midfield players are not close enough to her to give her support. Now, like you mentioned earlier, Stanway didn't have a lot of football coming into the tournament, had to kind of play away, and Lauren James had to play away. And I don't think particularly Kira Walsh has had the best tournament in England's shirt, and you're talking about a guy who's a big fan of hers. So I thought there was quite a few issues for England in the first half, and the goal, going up to the goal now. I thought what England needed to do. I was talking to Kenny Ken and Sophie during the match, and I was saying that England are not going to outpossess Spain. They're just not going to do it. So what they're going to have to do is, I would have swapped. It didn't happen, but I would have swapped Kelly over with Lauren Hemp. I'd have gone a little bit more direct, and I'd have got crosses in the box to Russo. Which the one time they actually really did do it, they got the goal. Chloe Kelly again, outstanding. I mean, what a player. I mean, great cross into the box. And Russo, fabulous header. Absolutely fantastic header. And England, against a runner player, if we're going to be really, really honest, got back into a 1-1. So, yeah, what do you make of what I've just said in regards to England? And if you thought there was any issues as to why they weren't really hurting Spain in terms of an attacking point, even from before the goal and getting the goal?
I think as well, I think our biggest problem was we were trying to suck Spain in and then try and play our way out at times, which is kind of what you said. We needed to be a bit more direct, which is why I was pulling my hair out at times. And you're exactly right in terms of the way we kind of play in that midfield, because Dad was going like, there's no one in the middle to kind of block off Spain's attack, etc., etc. We relied heavily on managing to get everyone behind the ball at times. So there was parts of the time I was like, if Spain keep doing this tiki-taka football, we're screwed, because there were so many times when they were on the edge of our box and you could predict where the ball was going to go, and England were just following around like lost puppies at times. But going back to obviously that goal where the cross came in, as soon as it left Chloe Kelly's foot, you're like, mate, this is going into the box at the right place, the right time. And then to see, like say, Russo kind of jump up, get her head on it, get it into the back of the net again, pure celebrations. Because like I've said, I really wanted her to get off the mark and get a goal, especially in a final like this, to get the equaliser against Spain. You kind of then sit back and like, oh, okay, sound. I think we've got this in the bag now. And luckily for us, we did. But yeah, there was times in that second half and potentially in that extra time where we could have very much slipped up again. Pure to just lack of concentration, or lack of having someone in the midfield to be that kind of nitty-gritty player to kind of break up play. But very pleased for Russo, like I said.
Well said, Holly. Well said. Yeah, I think that was the only way England were going to try and get back into that game, because you're not going to out-possess Spain. And like I said, when I was watching England play in the first half, especially, if you look at where the likes of England's midfield were picking up the ball, in particular Stanway and Walsh, in comparison to when Bonmati and Mariano pick up the ball. They're in our half or 10, 15 yards away from our goal. When we're picking up the ball, trying to infiltrate their central areas and get the ball out to Russo, we're receiving the ball off Jess Carter and Leah Williamson. So there was a big discourse, man. So and I think what you kind of noticed, I don't know how you felt, when Spain made their subs, they made a difference. I don't think England made a difference at all. And I have to bring this up because it was brought up during the game. Now, I don't know if Russo was injured, but if she wasn't, I can't understand that substitution. Because to me, when I looked at it, I thought the obvious substitution to make for me would have been to bring off Toon and bring on Ajiman and keep Russo on the pitch, unless she completely run her course, which I don't know, in 70 minutes. I'm not sure, but that's a strange substitution to me. I think you could.
Sorry, I think you can tell by her face as well. I think the camera panned to her when she was on the bench, and it was like the face of thunder, as in like it was panned on her face for about a good 5-10 seconds, and it looked like to me that she wasn't happy about coming off.
She did it in the World Cup final as well.
And that's the thing. I think it's well for her to finally get a goal. Have a bit of confidence from a great crossing, which she's kind of wanted this whole time of the tournament, to then be brought off was a bit bizarre. And I think Toon came, you can tell I forget things. Yeah, but I know didn't Toon come off later on anyway?
Yeah, she did.
So I don't know whether she was keeping her on maybe because she thought Toon might go, and I don't know. It was a strange one.
Because what happened with that, it impacted Ajiman, because Ajiman came on and
she was isolated as well.
She wasn't effective because England lost that because Russo can drop a bit deeper into that sort of almost that 10 role, and I think that impacted Ajiman because they just didn't get her in the game at all. Even when they brought on Beth Mead, it didn't work. That's why I thought Beth would have been the better substitution to come on for Lauren James, because Beth's better as a starter, as Sophie said, and she is, rather than bringing her on as an impact sub. So it was tough because Spain probably, maybe even a little bit more than England, their subs that come on, Parallelo and Pina, I was like, wow, like even and Patelis was not happy coming off either. Some interesting substitutions from them, but I just thought England were a little bit backs against the wall, man. And it got to a point where when I don't remember Chloe Kelly touching the ball for about 20-30 minutes. I didn't know she was on the pitch. So the England were just getting peppered, man. But one thing they did do well, Holly, defensively they were really good. But there's one person in particular that was absolutely outstanding. Coming to Jess Carter, I mean, wow. Didn't drop for the semi-final, or change it tactically, stylistically, whatever way you want to frame it. Absolutely brilliant, fantastic defensive display from her. And after what she suffered in terms of the racial abuse and having to take time out of social media, and to put in that performance in the final against the world champions was incredible, Holly.
100%. I echo what you say in terms of what she's kind of gone through personally through the tournament, having not so good a game here and there, to then obviously come back tonight and just be absolutely class. And the trouble is, there will be a lot of people that won't necessarily talk about Jess Carter because she wasn't the player that had her name in lights tonight, but absolutely unreal. Just the way that she was getting to balls early, the way she would come out just to receive the ball, to pass the ball on. I mean, to have so many different things in the tournament that may have set her back, she came out tonight and just absolutely blew them away. She allowed her football to do the talking, which is just unbelievable. So massive props to her, 100%.
Well said, Holly. Well said. I'm proud of you, host. And we were talking to Kenny Ken, me and Sophie chatting, and it's one of them games where, and I said it against in the semi-final, I thought Italy got what they deserved, and they did. And Spain, for the amount of possession, and I said it within like even regulation time and within the 90, that they're getting themselves into some really good areas, but they've been so wasteful. Yes, I'll give England credit for defending well, but it's very wasteful. And I said, it's going to come back to bite them, man, because they don't get this done in 90 minutes, or they don't get it done in extra time. and you let it go to penalties, then come what may, you're going to come unstuck. And yeah, England kind of had to hang in there. Like we said, Holly, repeat it again. After they beat Sweden, I saw the headline on the BBC Sport website saying England have been resilient. Absolutely. They've had their luck. They've used that and more. And their subs have won them the tournament. But before we sort of get, the penalty shootout again. I wasn't feeling that bad. I know Sophie said, I don't know I think Sophie might be still hiding behind the couch. I don't think she is, but she said she was. But I can front up and watch the penalties, man. It's not difficult. But England win the toss, go first. The shenanigans with Beth Mead taking the penalty, double take. And then she misses. What's going through your mind there, Holly?
I was like, not today, please. We've got this far. Our luck has not run out. We just need to compose ourselves. But yeah, I did feel really sorry for Beth because obviously VAR put it down to an irregular penalty. And I kind of get it. I also don't get it because she was at a disadvantage anyway because she slipped too. Like, you know what I mean? So It was a harsh one. But then obviously to then step up and try and take the penalty again. I wasn't feeling too great about it, and obviously it did get saved. And then from then you're just kind of looking to who else is going to take those penalties, and you've got to think to yourself, we've been in this stead before. I was just like, can this not be the start of the penalty shootout that we've already seen in this tournament? Because I cannot deal with that. It was brilliant. Like I say, when that first one she slipped over and had to retake it, and we missed, I was kind of like, we'll be all right, surely. And then I know we're probably going to get onto her, but I'm going to ask you about her, and that is Hannah Hampton, because she saved 2 tonight. I also learned as well that she had a visual impairment when she was little.
Yeah,
she had to have loads of different eye surgeries to say she probably wouldn't be able to play football again. And tonight, she's just made us world champion. What have you got to say about Hannah Hampton tonight and this whole tournament?
Sophie called it in the preview. She said she could be one of the stars of the tournament, and she is that and more. I'm absolutely delighted for her. She deserves to be England #1 going into the tournament. She had an excellent domestic season at Chelsea. You've been given a nod by the manager who's shown her a lot of faith, Kelly and Wiegman, despite all the background noise with the whole Mary Earps thing and people talking about leadership and experience. Hannah Hampton, take a bow. You was a hero in the quarterfinal. You saved England in the semi-final with a double save. You saved 2 penalties in the shootout from Bonmati and Caldente. Give her the damehood now. Honestly, I love her to pieces. I think she's amazing. She had a troubles when she's at Birmingham at the time, and maybe not attitude and maturity. You know, she's still young now, I think, Holly. I'm not sure how she is. Someone let me know in the chat, or Holly quickly Google it. But me and Sophie and Kenny again called it. It's time for Hannah Hampton to be a hero again. And she absolutely was. Super proud of her, what she's had to come through, and sort of skepticism about her coming in and who England's goalkeeper was before. But this is my goalkeeper. This is our goalkeeper. This is the England #1. She's an European champion, and she's been absolutely fantastic, and she absolutely deserves it. So yeah, she came up big, man. Big saves. I go back to what I said before, Holly, in that quarterfinal against Sweden. She saved the penalty to stop England going out. You can't forget that. So listen, that shirt is hers, man. She's an European champion now. She's been a big contributive factor to England winning this tournament. Absolutely outstanding. She deserves. Holly's a famous saying. She absolutely deserves her flowers. Couldn't be more happy for her.
100% perfect. And she's only 24 as well.
24. So, wow. Okay.
24.
Like I say, that's and
a lot of big boots, like you said, to kind of fill with Mary Earps and all of that discussion that was going on. To be there to, like you said, make important saves and win us a tournament effectively, like just unreal. And I know as well, I could talk about her, but I also want you to talk about her because he's, as you man, the truth. I may have said that wrong. You'll probably say it better, but as you man, wow. Again, another young star for your team. But what have you made of obviously Ajman this tournament? Obviously winning young player of the tournament as
fantastic.
well.
Absolutely
Unreal.
fantastic. Yeah, 19 years of age. I think tonight showed that coming on that game in the final tonight is that it was right to start her as a sub and bring her as an impact. We mentioned at the show last time with Sophie after the semi-final that she hasn't played a lot of 90-minute games. She's still very raw. We need to work on in terms of hold up play, when to make runs, and she's got the pace, she's got the power, which is going to be handy. She's got to get the players around her in terms of creativity, and she'll be superb. But yeah, we actually really didn't know she won that award until literally being on the pitch. I mean, I don't know. I won't mention the broadcasters. I watched it on a channel that wasn't BBC One, basically. Okay, so yeah, that's where I watched the game. But yeah, amazing. The really fantastic moment. Players lined up on each side. She comes through, but she's been amazing this tournament, and Serena deserves credit for picking her because, Holly, I'm a little bit older than you, as you know. I'm 21 plus a bit of VAT, and I've grown up with seeing a lot of England managers that would not be brave enough to pick players that are youngsters. They'd rather go to tried and tested, which you've got to do at some points in terms of a squad. But Michelle Azerman, brilliant. Didn't have her best game tonight, but then again, she got isolated as well. She worked hard though off the ball in terms of helping England out defensively. But yeah, she's got a bright future, man, and I can't wait to see how she's integrated into the Arsenal teams. I'm confident enough Renee Sleggers will get us in game time. Exciting times for the Arsenal ladies. Our quartet, Ajiman, Chloe Kelly, and obviously Leah's in there and Alessia Russo. But yeah, super proud of her, man. What a moment. What a moment. You know, I mean, probably 3-4 months ago, there would have been no talk of her coming to the tournament. I mean, she was a ball girl at Serena Wiegman's first game at Wembley. That's crazy. 4 years ago. It's mad, absolutely crazy. And to now be an European champion and contribute to the team in the way that she has is truly exceptional, man. And yeah, I'm glad she plays for my club, to be honest with you. Your thoughts, Holly?
No, I couldn't work it any better. Obviously, she doesn't play for my club, but it's a full circle moment, like you said, to be a ball girl 4 years ago, to now be a European champion at the age of 19, to have Serena kind of back her and pick her to come to the tournament, like you said, is bold and brave. Serena knows what she's doing. That's now 3 championships, 3 major championships, 2 back-to-back with England. It's just ridiculous. Amazing. She's got a ridiculous feat. And I know we always joke and say, oh, when's she going to bring her sub on, etc., etc. But she knows what she's doing, clearly. She's got all the accolades for it now. And the biggest thing for me about Serena is the fact that she, as much as she should take the credit for winning all these championships, she always goes back to the team. It's like, they're the ones on the pitch. I can guide them, but they're the ones that do it. They've got so much grit, so much determination. And tonight, I know we'll probably get on to Chloe Kelly, but it was so refreshing to hear her say, I'm so proud to be English. I don't think we hear that enough. And I think it's because, like, obviously, I don't want to segregate England men and England women, but I think because if England men went and won that, you'd probably say the same thing. It's just so nice to be English and win something. It's been far too long for both sides that we have had that. And it's just refreshing to hear it. And Chloe Kelly, we've given her so many props this whole tournament. But the biggest thing for me tonight that I will always remember was, I don't know if you've seen it, but the video of her going, it was so nice to do it once. We had
I saw it.
Honestly,
yeah,
she's got so much aura, so much charisma, so much, like, she's just unbelievable. She is it. And I know, obviously, she had a rough time at City, then came to you guys at Arsenal, but she's just absolutely flourished. She's told all the haters where to stick it. She's like, I am here to stay. I'm a big moment player. I've done it once. I've done it twice. My name's Chloe Kelly. But Albert, you go and add some more to this because we could talk about it all night, I reckon.
Yeah, listen, I won't say too much because you've kind of done all the, you've done all the good work. But no, you make a good point because she's openly spoke about her time at City from the point of when she posted that post on Instagram. And I've heard Ian Wright's probably had private conversations with her as well in terms of, I don't really know what the reason was for why she wasn't getting picked at City, but she just wasn't a fixture at all. I remember seeing the podcast of Steph Houghton and Ian Wright and talking about Chloe Kelly, actually, funny enough. And I remember saying to Sophie and Demian that if she was available, Arsenal need to be all over that, man. And it came about in January, and they brought her to the club. She's got obviously the iconic history of scoring the winning goal at Wembley against Germany in the final in Euro 2022. She's a big game player. She's a special human being. It's not by accident you happen to be at the forefront of the good things that happen for your country. She's direct, fantastic delivery, can get you a goal, and she is a big time. I call her Chloe the X Factor Kelly, and she is. Some players just have that, and she does. I don't know what it is about her. I just think she's so grateful. The way she spoke about Renee Slegers after the Champions League win, and it couldn't have been fitting of any player to take that penalty and win England a back-to-back Euros. Outstanding woman, and we signed her on a permanent for Arsenal, so I'm pretty happy about that. But yeah, she deserves all the flowers she gets, and yeah, you're right, Holly. Like to say, proud to be English. She said it, and I think she said it after the semi-final as well. Yeah, it's like I said, it's not by accident that you just happen to be the person that pulls up the biggest contribution in the biggest pressure moments. She's outstanding. She's outstanding, and she brings more than just. She's not just a good footballer. She's a decent human being that's been through a very, very rough time. Talking about walking away from the game, and that's quite a viable option for her. She said at the time, just before the tournament, I think she was interviewed. But what are we in now? July? What a 7-8 months. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So super proud of her. And yeah, England are back-to-back European champions. And they've gone and done it, Holly. They've actually gone and done it. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. So, yeah, it's coming to you quick, yeah, because obviously I'm not going to stay till I'm going to wrap up because it's late. And I've spoken to you about this before. I know how emotional you was after I spoke to you after 22. And what does this mean, man? Because it's not that they've just gone and won. They've gone and won on foreign soil. No other England team has done that, and they defended their title. And I heard the Spanish girl speak about this a lot in terms of football growing in particular countries and needing to get the support behind it. And I remember Mariona and Lea Cadena were saying at Arsenal that them winning the World Cup has not really done that much for women in Spanish football, which I thought was quite remarkable, but also not a shock. But what does it do for the generations coming up into this team, and obviously people watching this, for young girls?
It's gonna make it boom even more. Obviously, when I was playing football back in the day, there was, so to put into context, in Hampshire there was only 3 women's leagues. Now there's currently, I think it's 8, and that's in the space of since 2022. So that's a massive growth, and to think that's just Hampshire, that's going to be all across the whole of the UK. And the fact that now they've done it not once but twice, but also back to back in such a short period of time as well, it's only going to grow the game. And I think I was born a bit too early, but I know for players that are coming through now, they're going to start having that support system that I didn't necessarily have. As in, we didn't necessarily have a big centre of excellence. We didn't necessarily have a lot of academies, but now you've got Southampton down the road for me. You've got Portsmouth. You've got Bournemouth. You've got Brighton. They've all started to get these setups in the women's game because they've seen how successful it can be if you have the right infrastructure at your club. And I think it's only going to get better. It's only going to get stronger. And especially with the talent of crop of players we've got. I mean, I never want to segregate football in terms of men and women, but the fact that obviously we've got the women, that's such a good crop. What can this do for the men's football as well? Because we speak about it all the time. The players we've got in the men's side as well are so talented. It's probably one of the talented teams we've seen in a long time. If the women have managed to get this infrastructure going, they've won too. What can that mean for the men? It will only bring football as a whole in England as better. Not just women, not just men. Football as a whole is going to be so much better from the women winning it, I feel. Yeah,
well said. I think, and I think we did. Sophie Sophie did come on. I remember after we was covering Euro 2022. Did we cover that? No, we don't. No, it might have been the tournament after. But Sophie was
so many.
Sophie was definitely on, and she said it's one thing doing well in a tournament, but Holly, you have to win. I don't say that so flippantly. I know how it's very difficult to win international tournaments. You can win them and not play well. The Lioness has demonstrated that. Greece done it in 2004. The Portugal side done it in Euro 20? Oh God, it was 2016, I think it was, when Portugal won. Tournament football's different, but in terms of what you're saying about pathway of players coming through, and it was quite touched on a little bit about tonight in terms of England going forward. The World Cup's in 26, is it 27?
27.
It's yeah. Now, I know the likes of Stanway and Walsh are not exactly over the hill, but I think in terms of England going forward, the Lionesses, I think the fullback area needs to be looked at. The central midfield area definitely needs to be looked at, because England, from a physicality standpoint of view, and I saw that in the World Cup, they struggled against Nigeria, and for me, it's purely physicality and speed. That's going to have to be looked at. And I'm sure that, let them enjoy themselves in Switzerland at the moment, you know what I mean? But when the dust is settled, then I think the parade's on Tuesday, actually, from what I heard before the broadcast sort of ended on the channel that I was watching it. But yeah, England sort of going forward, I always say it, man, you have to strengthen from a position of strength. So England have got some very good young players coming through. So we're going to have to keep an eye out at sort of WSL, but they've got to develop more ball carriers and players of speed and technical ability. From the Spanish sort of quartet, they're from a very young age. Those guys are very comfortable in possession. You see that if you watch Spain play in the last, I've been watching the Spanish ladies play now for about the last 3 or 4 years. Incredible level. I'm saying England have to be exactly like that, but you need to have a more functional midfield that has a bit more dynamism in it. And that's some of the things I take away from the tournament. Absolutely buzzing the Lionesses won, but I know Serena Wiegman, being the top manager she is, will look at that. The likes of your Grace Clintons, your Jess Parks, your Aggie Beaver Joneses, defensively, what have you got? You've got Niamh Charles there, you've got Maya Letitia. There's a lot of players that probably are not been in his current squad, but it's about the conveyor belt coming through now. Same as in the men's team. That's the stats. We've got some serious talent. But yeah, we'll see. Time will tell. The European champions, again, it's been an amazing tournament, Holly. We're going to wrap up because it's getting late. Quadruple collaboration tournament. We finally got one over the line, Holly. We're doing a show where England have won. This is incredible. It's been a long weekend, people. Watch the British Lions kick butt. Yes, well, I don't say kick butt. That was a test match and a half, I'll tell you that. But yeah, Holly, it's been an absolute pleasure. Again, I know you've worked incredibly hard and socially and on the program. All the listeners, I thought I'd get that one in there for Holly. I did, Holly. Well, Holly, I absolutely adore you to pieces. This has been an amazing partnership and team that we've come across when it comes to international duty. The Premier League is coming back very, very soon. So this will be the last time we collaborate for another 10 years. No, not that long. Sorry, about 7-8 months. I don't know. Depends when we play. But we're playing each other in a warm-up game. So I don't think I'll be able to watch that because I'll be at work, just as you will be. But Holly, an absolute delight. People, if you watch on Albert JTV, now I know it's the name's in the title of Holly, but just go and subscribe to her, please. Just put that aside for you, just for one show. And if you watch the Holly's Hotspurs, if you want to, it's not by force. Subscribe to Albert JTV, because I don't just cover Arsenal, by the way. Let me get that in there.
It does do a lot of other work, not just Arsenal.
Yes.
Oh, whereas I just do Spurs, so I get it if you don't want to.
Spurs of England. That's Holly's.
That is it.
That's it. But Holly, yeah, great tournament. England are winners again. And yeah, I guess we go again. What's our next major tournament? It will be
2026.
2026, the men's. Time to go and kick butt in USA. Me and Holly will be trying hard to get sponsorship once again to go over to America, but I'm not really sure that might happen. Unless we win the lottery, we can get tickets.
Never know. Got to be in it to win it, mate.
Exactly. But big up to the chat for watching it live as with us now. And also when you watch it back, please do smash the like button for both Holly's Hotspurs and Albert JTV. Oh, and of course, let me do the last thing before we finish our collaboration, Holly. Now, my ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what to do by now, then this is what you should do. Roll the tape. There you have it, people. Last intro for our international collaboration for Euro 2025. Subscribe to Albert JTV and Holly's Hotspots. Holly's final words.
Up the England. Champions, champions, ole, ole, ole.
Is that it, Holly?
That is it. That's Holly over and out.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, people. That is another tournament done. Quadruple tournament done. We'll be back for the 5th installment, like Rocky. England Lionesses are the champions of Europe. Back-to-back champions. People, over and out. The legacy continues for the Lionesses. See you later, people.